All right, I did not post a video yesterday, and again it was just morning greetings. I'm finally posting a video now, and I had some things I wanted to talk about. First of all, I don't advocate for negativity unnecessarily, or I mean I am moving forward now, and I don't like criticizing others, no matter who it is. I mean, it's good to sometimes throw in criticisms, but to unnecessarily throw out a criticism, I don't like. To unnecessarily be negative, I don't like. Now, I'm going back to that whole, that whole origin thing, and that I was talking about. And I mean, and I'll start with like, okay, so there wasn't much. I looked at myself at my reflection, and I was looking at myself, and I was like, I was thinking like, where do I like what am I? And I was asking, and I was really just trying to. I feel like I have a keen eye when it comes to these things, but I was looking at myself. I was like, what am I? And I'm looking at myself, and I think so. Must be somewhere in Europe. I'm like, no, that's odd. I'm like Middle East. I look at it, no. I'm like, where in the world? No, nowhere in the world. So first I look at myself and I go, dude, look at this, right? Right? Look at that. And I've always talked about that. So I was like, okay, so something vampirical, maybe? Yeah, at first, maybe, yeah, I do believe that we all have some kind of thing, you know what I mean? If somebody, dwarves or midgets, which is a derogatory term. Now, I don't knock them at all, but if you are one, I mean, typically they pass the genome on. So dwarves will have dwarf children most of the time. Sometimes they even have their own communities and things like that, their own group. You know what I mean? As dwarves, they have their own group. And what I'm trying to say is that there are people who will look a certain way, and they can be from like a type of people. You know what I mean? I've shown you this, and I've talked endlessly about the whole vampirical thing, and I do believe in it. And then there are people who claim a lot of things, man. And it's not like, oh no, no. So there people claim a lot of different things. I just named one thing, but there's so many different things that people claim. But get past that. Then I was trying to look for like, and again, I was shooting wrong. I look at myself and I go, what country would I be from? I got through the first part with the vampirical thing. What country? And the first thing that comes to mind is Romania. I look at myself and go, no, it's not Romania. I look at myself and go like, is it Italian? No, it's not Italian. I'm looking at myself, Spain? No. What could it be, man? I'm thinking to myself, because I know it's not Nordic. Nordic is very they have very strong features. I do believe that it's understood that at least most of the blonde-haired, blue-eyed people came from the Nordic lands, the Vikings. They were supposed to be blonde-haired, blue-eyed, big men. Sometimes they were gingers with red hair. And that's just like the Nordic and the Scandinavian region. So, I'm like thinking, man, what am I? And that's when I figured out. I was like, Latin. You know what I mean? Because there's Latin people in Italy, in Romania, in Spain. There's Latin people everywhere. And I've talked about that. So I got the Latin thing down. And I don't want to talk about it more, but when I got that down, I realized I was like, yeah, I'm not running a nationality here. You know what I mean? There is no national identity. Like I'm from this country. No, there's nothing like that. It doesn't make any sense. When I really put it into perspective, none of that made sense. Now that I've already talked about, we can move past that. So we'll move past. I posted a pic with like my real hair color right in the sun, and I've told you there's no way that you can be from when you have that hair color is like very very strong. Like that trait of that hair color is very strong. You know what I mean? That type of hair, that's real hair. That is a very very strong trait. Okay, I'm not sitting here saying that I'm a Latin person from Ethiopia or something. You know what I mean? That doesn't make any fucking sense. But if you saw my hair, I posted the pic of, and if you see my real hair, that is a very strong trait. And it's not even just like European trait, but it's very strong because it's away from the blonde hair, blue eye, red hair, whatever, like the Viking thing, and it's away from a lot of different parts of Europe, and it's pretty much Latin, man. If you just want to see paintings of conquistadors, if you want to see Vlad or some of the Romanians and the Italians, that amber color of hair is specifically Latin. If you look at that hair and you just try to study it a little bit, it is like, it might be here or there in Europe too, but it's very Latin. The hair is very Latin, okay? So we can move past that. Now today what I was thinking is like, dude, what group do I belong to? You know what I mean? Like, what group do I belong to? Now, where have I traveled to in the past? Where have I lived? Or what I have seen? I've seen, I've been to Dubai, right? And before that, I had been to Panama at one point. I had been to Florida. I had been to Cuba. I did Havana and Veradero. I had been to Dominican. I had been to Colombia. And I gotta tell you, when you go to these places, you feel like you're in Miami, to be very honest. And I'm serious. From Dominican to Cuba to by the way, from Cuba, there was a specific port in Havana or around Havana, somewhere in Cuba, where you could see it was like a lighthouse or a tower in Miami. You could see the port of Miami from the port of Cuba. It was like a 1 hour boat drive. In 1 hour, you can take a boat from Havana to Miami. In 1 hour, you can boat ride from Havana right into Miami, like Miami Harbor. Okay, so, I almost felt, after traveling to all those areas, I felt like I was living in Miami. And I was partying everywhere I went. I mean, I partied for years, you know what I mean? And between that, like I'd say even prior to me robbing that bank, was like, it was just like, I just kept it New York, I kept my New York style. That's a big thing, in New York, when you can be a nobody in New York and you rob a bank and you're like fucking hardcore at this point. You know what I mean? You got that rep. And I know a lot of people here, they laugh about, I'm like, you're fucking retarded, man. You know what I mean? They laugh about that. It's like, you know why? Because they're retarded. But I'll get to that point. But it was like being in New York, It's like, did Miami or that area, did the New York area, and then did the Dubai for a few years kind of area thing. And I'm not going to get into all that, but I'm just talking about trends and feels and things like that. But I actually, spent like a couple of weeks in Dubai. Now that's all understood, right? I did all that. It's understood. At this point, what I was thinking was like, dude, what group do I belong to? And there's a few things I want to point out. First of all, there are men out there or guys, whatever you want to call them, and when it comes to the reputation, they don't mind having the reputation of like attractive, strong female. You know what I mean? Like, I know it sounds kind of gay, but it's supposed to be very straight. A guy can just be so special in his group or in his life that people think of him as like a strong female. Oh, this is a strong, tall female. When you look at him, and you look at him really clearly, like, wow, he looks like a strong blonde or beautiful, just female, like pretty female or whatever. You know what I mean? You look at a guy, do you feel like that? And I'll tell you, man, in my life, I've always been 100% boy. 100% boy my whole life. And as I matured, I just went from boy to man. Okay? I went from like boy into man. You know what I mean? So, and there was no second that I was ever female. And I'm talking about reputation-wise. There are guys that don't mind it, man. Like, oh, yeah, I'm just like a female, man. I get lots of girls. I get lots of whatever. I'm so cool. I'm so hot. And that they like that image, some guys. I'm not gonna say that I like it or dislike it. What I will say is that I've never been a female out there. My reputation has never been female. It has always been male. For good, for better, or for worse, I have always been male. And I want to make that clear that I've always been a boy. And at this point, I've always been man. There was never a moment that I was a female, a girl, a lady, whatever you want to call it out there. Never. But it is a misconception. You know, some people will look at me and maybe see me do certain things and they're like, oh, that's like a female. No. And I know women don't like that either. You know, for a woman to claim a guy who has some kind of talent and be like, oh, he's like a female, for her it's like pride. You know, I'm a female, I'm a good looking female. That guy, whatever he is like me in public. You know what I mean? But that's not the truth. And I'm very big on anything being genuine. Like, I need to know things that are genuine. I need to feel genuine all the time. I've always been 100% genuine all the time, which is a very hard claim to make, and we don't even, it's not even that big of a deal. But never been a female, okay? You know, part of being a man, you gotta understand, because some of these guys who are like females, they get everything. They get VIP entrances, they got the parties, everybody's calling them, everybody wants to hang out with them, whatever the case is. That, dude, I have lived like fucking so rough, man. I have lived so rough. You know what I mean? Dude, I've been in an asylum for fucking over 3 years, man. I robbed a bank 7 years ago. You know what I mean? I didn't spend that much time. I spent 3 weeks in jail, another week in jail, another week in jail, another week in jail. 4 trips. Okay, a total of 6 weeks or 6.5 weeks or around 6 weeks. Okay, that's I mean that's all I did in jail. But I did like 3 years in this institution. I did 2 years of kind of like like time in, you know, like a restricted time or whatever, and I've done all that shit. Dude, I have been through times, and I hate it when I feel like there's like somebody's thinking I'm like, dude, I don't like misconceptions or something that's wrong. If you're looking at me thinking I'm a female, you're wrong, dude. And I've been in I've had very, very difficult situations in my life, very tough situations. I've been through a lot of bad shit. I've been at the bottom. I've hit rock bottom a million times. You know what I mean? This is the first time that I came up. I've hit rock bottom a million times and all that. You know what I mean? And I do believe that they don't want me to be who I really am sometimes, you know, because my personality, and I'll be honest with you, even at a basic level, is recognizable that I had a very strong personality. You know, I have a very strong personality which pretty much screams man in every way. You know, like I have a man's personality. You know what I mean? And that's like, that takes it a level like different from being a female out there, because when you have a real man's personality, you got like, you're strong as fuck. You know what I mean? You're strong. I mean strong as fuck in every way. You're just a strong person, man. And that's rare. That's very rare. But you are a strong person. People don't like that. Dude, imagine a bunch of men who are adult lions seeing a cub starting to grow into an adult lion. What do you think's gonna happen? Even female lions and male lions, what do? Sometimes they will kill the cub, or they'll even send him into exile. And he's gotta live out there eating like low-class meat. You know what I mean? Like he's living shitty as fuck. And that's a reality. I mean, I'll tell you something. You don't see this a lot, but yeah. Anyways, we won't get into that. But the point is, dude, that's how bad it can get. But I have a very strong personality. I'm now out there. I'm a man. The moment I was a man out there, which was not long ago, but the moment I became a man, I have never dropped the ball, man. I've been the man. I've been a man continuously without fail. You know what I mean? So I've always been a man. I've always been a man. I've never been a female, man. That's inaccurate. If I was, it's not that I would be ashamed. I would be like, yeah, dude, like, I'm like a fuck. Am I like, you think, when you look at me, do you feel like you're seeing like a hot blonde? Because goddamn, I love to be that. But the truth is that that's not me. It's not about better or worse. It's just about what it actually is. And I want to be what it actually is. So I don't, if I was that, I'd be like, hell yeah, man, give me all the perks. I'm going to be doing VIP all day. But that's not me. And I'm not going to hold down something that's fake. So I'm going to hold on to you what's genuine. Since I became a man, which is not that many months ago, I have not dropped the ball, man. I've been the man nonstop, continuously. Now, I have another part that I want to get to. I don't know if I don't have enough time, so I'll get into the next video.